The Final Shoot. Part 1. The Audition That Wasn't. I got the casting call in the middle of the night. The email was brief, no subject line, no salutation. Just an address, a date, and 3 words typed in bold. Netflix Original Audition. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I hadn't sent out any headshots in months, and no agent would reach out with that little information. But the curiosity chewed at me. I'd been out of work, scraping together rent by working nights at a studio lot in Burbank, cleaning sets and returning props no one remembered borrowing. So I clicked. No redirect. Just a calendar invite and a .pdf attachment with a script label. Scene 417. It was barely 2 pages long. No character name. No dialogue. Just camera directions and blocking. Int. Dark room, night. Subject stands in frame. Smile. Remove mask. End. It didn't say what mask, or whose, or why. Just remove mask. The location wasn't a casting office. It was an old soundstage, tucked behind a burned-out church near Glendale, surrounded by chain-link fence and crows that didn't fly away when I passed. No signs. No trailers. Just a single red light above a steel door. It blinked twice as I approached. Then the door opened. No one was on the other side. Just a hallway. Cold. Smelling of solder and wet fur. Inside, a woman waited behind a folding table. She didn't introduce herself. Didn't look up. Just slid a form across the table toward me. Sign in, she said. No pen. Just blood already on the page. Still wet. The camera was already rolling when I stepped onto the makeshift set. No boom mic. No crew. Just a chair in the middle of a concrete room, and a giant black lens pointing at me from the dark, mounted in a wall that didn't look like it was part of the original building. It pulsed faintly, like a pupil trying to dilate. Stand in frame, said the voice from above. I never found the speaker. I obeyed. Smile. I did. It hurt. My cheeks twitched like they were resisting it. Remove mask. I hesitated. I'm not wearing one, I said. A pause. Then static. Loud. And then, beneath it, that voice again, except now it was right beside me. Then what is that on your face? I woke up at home. The audition was over. Or at least, it should have been. But I couldn't remember how I got back. My car keys were missing. My phone had 17 photos I didn't take, all of them stills from the camera on the set. Slightly different angles. Slightly different versions of me. In one, my smile was wider. In another, my eyes were completely black. In the last, I wasn't there at all. Just the chair. And the camera. And a note written on the wall in red. Perfect. You're cast. I told myself it was a dream. Maybe a prank audition, some weird viral marketing stunt. But then the checks started arriving. Real money. Big money. Dropped into my bank account without explanation. And in the mail, a black envelope with a letter inside. Production begins in 7 days. You don't need to prepare. We've been watching. There was no signature. Only the Netflix logo, off somehow. The red N was thinner. sharper, like a blade pressed into skin. I tried to call someone, my old agent, a director friend. Their numbers rang but never connected. Voicemails came back garbled. Their social media accounts were gone, like they'd been wiped. Then the emails started. Video attachments, labeled dailies. Each file showed me, alone, in the same chair, filmed from different angles. But I hadn't gone back. I hadn't agreed to shoot. And yet there I was. In one, I cried until my nose bled. In another, I laughed while something behind the camera whispered in a language that made the walls tremble. The worst one was the third. I sat still, mouth open. The caption read, "Scene 417, take 7. And then my face began to peel. Not violently. Not with pain. Like it was being unwrapped. Layer by layer. Beneath it was not bone. Or muscle. Just static. I unplugged everything. Left town. Drove until my phone lost signal and the sky looked different. But that night, I woke up in another chair. In another room. Same camera. Same lens. Same voice. Let's do one more for safety. Part 2, Scene 418, Exterior Unknown. I don't remember leaving the chair. But I woke up somewhere else. I use woke loosely. The transition wasn't sleep, it was a cut. A literal jump cut. One moment I was staring into the lens of a camera pulsing like a heart. The next, I was blinking against sunlight that felt wrong. It was bright, yes, but not warm. The shadows didn't fall where they should have. And the sky was too smooth. No clouds. Just a perfect gradient, as if someone had painted it in post-production. I wasn't on a soundstage anymore. But I wasn't outside either. The trees didn't sway. The wind sounded looped. Same gust. Same whistle. Every 30 seconds. Like a set someone forgot to animate fully. I stood in the middle of a field of fake grass. The kind they use for film lots and indoor soccer fields. It smelled faintly of rubber. There were no insects. No dirt. Just a clapboard stuck in the ground nearby. I approached it. The white slate read, Scene 418. EXT, Unknown Day. Take 1. Camera, awake. And beneath it, scribbled in frantic red ink. No rewrites. It remembers. I tried walking. Any direction. Didn't matter. The landscape repeated. A looping hill. A static farmhouse in the distance that never got closer. The clouds, what few appeared, moved backward. I shouted. No echo. No birds. Just that wind. Looping again. At 45 seconds in, I saw a boom mic drift briefly into frame above me, then vanish again behind the sky. Someone was filming, but I didn't know who. Then the screen appeared. Not a television. A literal screen. Freestanding. Like a drive-in movie theater plopped in the middle of the field. It powered on with a click, and began playing footage in black and white. It was me, age 12, sitting in a hospital hallway outside my father's room. I hadn't thought of that day in years. Then the footage cut to a wide shot, me again, now, watching the memory play. And a title appeared in the corner. Scene 418, Bechem/Eli's feed. I wasn't just being filmed. I was being directed by my own history. Voices crackled in the grass beneath my feet. Speakers? No mouths. Something alive in the dirt. They whispered parts of the script. Walk forward. Look uncertain. Pause. Remember the guilt. Now cry. I didn't want to cry. But I did. A perfect, silent tear. Like it had been cued. And the moment it fell, the camera blinked. I know that doesn't make sense. But it did. The lens in the sky flickered once. Like it was pleased. Then a figure walked into frame. No sound. Just appeared. Not out of the trees. Not from the field. Just there. Wearing the director's chair. Tall. Thin. Face hidden by a scarf wrapped like film reels. He raised one hand. Snapped his fingers. And the field reset. The wind started again. The sun jumped an inch higher. The boom mic dipped, corrected. The slate clapped again. Scene 418, take 2. I tried to run. But the moment I moved, everything pixelated. The trees turned to static. The ground flickered like a corrupted file. And in my ears, that voice again. You're still recording. Please don't resist. I collapsed. The ground hardened. Lights clicked on, above me, in a grid. Studio lights. Gaffed and rigged. And I realized I'd never left the stage. Later, I don't know how much later, I woke in a replica of my apartment. Same couch. Same bookshelf. But the books were blank. The photos were all of me, facing away. And the windows showed that looping field. It wasn't my home. It was a set of my life. Meticulously recreated. In the kitchen, I found the new call sheet. Black folder. Silver lettering. Inside. Scene 419. The wake up. Scene 420. The loop test. Scene 421. Denial. Scene 422. Loss of script. Scene 423. The rewrite begins. At the bottom, a note scribbled in the margins. Don't deviate. Deviants are edited. I flipped the page over. One final scene listed. Circled in scarlet ink. Scene 424. The cancellation. No details. Just a date, April 17th. Just time, 2:16 a.m. The clock on the wall now only ticks backward. Every breath I take feels like it's rehearsed. Every word I say echoes before it leaves my mouth. And in the mirror, I don't blink unless I remember to. The production isn't wrapping. It's tightening. There are no credits. No crew. Just cameras. Just me. And something behind the lens, writing my lines in real time. I think I'm not being filmed anymore. I think I've been streaming. Live. To someone. To everyone. And somewhere, a red N hovers in the upper corner of the feed, waiting for the next viewer to hit. Continue watching. Part 3. The rewrite begins. The new pages arrive every morning. Not under the door. Not in the mail. They simply exist, spread across the kitchen table like I'd been working on them in my sleep. Typewritten, no title page, no header. Just scene after scene, Dialogue I haven't said yet, actions I haven't taken. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're impossible. Like today's. Int. Bathroom, night. Eli stands before the mirror. He peels his reflection away. Beneath it, a smiling audience. I'm not acting anymore. I don't even think I was ever hired. I've become the material. Scene 419 was called The Wake Up. It wasn't metaphorical. The script described my actual morning routine in perfect detail. The time I woke up. What cereal I poured. The sock I couldn't find. The bruise on my shoulder from the chair I don't remember hitting. Word for word. Action for action. And at the end, a line of direction. Cut to, Eli realizes the line has blurred. I tore it up. Didn't matter. The cameras followed anyway. A lens now hangs in the corner of every room. Some visible. Some I only see in reflections. I caught one behind my pupil yesterday, just for a second. I blinked, and the screen flashed white. Scene 420. The loop test. The same scene, twice in a row. Identical words. Identical movements. But the third time I woke up, the coffee was blood. The spoon stirred itself. And my voice, when I said good morning, played back 5 seconds late, in someone else's voice. Someone who sounded like they'd been buried under film reels for decades. I haven't seen a real person in days. Or weeks. Or has it been longer? Even the trees through the fake windows have started repeating. Same 3 crows. Same crooked branch. Same blink in the sky. I timed it. It resets every 9 minutes and 14 seconds. Scene 421, Denial. I tried not following the script. I refused to pour the cereal. Refused to say the lines. But the lights dimmed. The walls hummed. And from every speaker in the apartment, a voice crackled. You are not the writer. Then the front door opened. And I met the previous me. He looked like me, but off. Eyes too dark. Smile too still. Hands trembling behind his back like he was holding something heavy and invisible. He said my next line before I could speak it. Then he nodded and walked back out, leaving only a trail of film stock slowly unraveling across the carpet. Scene 422. Loss of script. The pages stopped showing up. Instead, the screen began showing scenes ahead of time. I'd see myself brushing my teeth, then hear the toothbrush before I reached the sink. I'd see myself eating, then taste it 5 seconds later. I was lagging behind my own life. Once, I stood in front of the mirror and blinked. And my reflection didn't. It just leaned in, lifted a finger, and traced something onto the glass. Right back. I tried. I wrote a single line on the back of one of the old scripts. I want out. The next morning, a reply was scrawled in black ink beneath it. Not a good ending. Then the cameras turned red. Every one of them. Their lenses narrowed like angry pupils. The apartment shook. And new pages printed themselves, line by line, through the slot in the wall I hadn't noticed before. Scene 423. The rewrite begins. The first line. Eli accepts the role. The second. Eli prepares for final broadcast. The last page? Blank. Except for the words. Live shoot, April 17 to 2:16 a.m. Scene 424. The cancellation. I've started hearing the audience now. They laugh at the wrong moments. They clap when I cry. They chant lines before I say them. And late at night, when the power flickers, I hear them whispering in unison. Don't cancel now. Don't cancel now. Don't cancel now. The show isn't a show anymore. It's a structure, a ritual, and I'm the host. In the shower this morning, the water turned black. Not like ink, like old footage. Celluloid runoff. When I looked down, I saw hands reaching through the drain, holding scripts with names scratched out. Only mine remained. I understand now. There is no network, no crew, no subscribers, just the broadcast. And it wants an ending. Scene 424 approaches. I don't know what the cancellation means. Death? Escape? Or worse, renewal. But I'll tell you this. If you open Netflix at 2:16 a.m. on April 17, and you see a thumbnail that doesn't belong, a face you recognize but can't quite name, a single word title, live, don't click. Or do. But know this. If you start the stream, you'll be cast next. End of part 3. Are you ready for part 4, where the live broadcast begins, and you find yourself in the background of the show you didn't know was filming? Part 4 live. April 17th. 2:16 a.m. I sat in the chair. The same one from scene 417. Or maybe a different one, but identical down to the crack on the left leg and the thin layer of dust on the seat, like it had been waiting for me. A red light blinked above the lens. Then it went solid. Live. No countdown. No intro. No crew call. The episode just started. With me. Breathing too hard. Wearing clothes I hadn't put on. Reading lines I hadn't been given, but already knew. I'm ready. The words left my mouth before I thought them. I heard them echo through the walls, like the soundstage was a throat, and I'd just spoken into the hollow center of a dead god. There was no script anymore. Only directions written in things I wasn't supposed to see. The scratches on the floor. The blinking of the exit sign. Long, short, short, long. Morse code? The smell of burnt plastic drifting in from the rafters. And the audience. Oh, the audience. I couldn't see them, not clearly, but I could feel them. Behind the lens. Behind the walls. Behind me. Breathing in sync. Watching. They weren't people. They weren't viewers. They were the ones who built the show. One watcher for every camera. One director for every shadow. I walked through the set. My set. My fake apartment rebuilt inside a warehouse that stretched for miles. The walls were made of screens now, playing loops of every mistake I'd made in my life. Every lie, every failed audition, every moment I'd ever looked into a mirror and not recognized myself. But the footage was different. Shot from angles that couldn't exist. Overhead. Underneath. Inside my own eyes. I stepped into the bathroom. The mirror no longer showed a reflection. It showed a feed. Not of me. Of you? Reading this. Right now. Blinking slower. heart racing. And in the mirror, your screen flickered. A new notification hovered in the corner. New episode, Scene 424, the cancellation. Now streaming live. I tried to look away, but I couldn't. The mirror kept shifting. Your room, your light, your posture. It was looking through me, filming you now. Because this was never a story. It was a trigger, a streaming hook. Each part was just a test, and now, the broadcast had jumped from me to you. I turned back to the chair. The lights dimmed. The red live light blinked again. Then a new slate dropped from the ceiling. Scene 425, viewer transition. It wasn't me anymore. It was your name. A voice spoke through the speaker above the set. My voice. But warped. Like it had been edited 1,000 times too many. Welcome to the stream. Your pilot begins now. Smile. The camera turned away from me. Pointed outward. Toward you. The footage cut to black. Then to a loading bar. Then to static. Then, a thumbnail. A news show. No title. Just your face blurred. Description. Unscripted. Unedited. Unending. And below it. Now trending. #1 in your country. I sit in the dark now. The set is gone. The crew never existed. Only the watchers. Only the feed. I'm not the actor anymore. I'm the rerun. But your feed is fresh. Your pilot's been greenlit. The lights in your room aren't flickering by accident. Your webcam isn't off when you think it is. And that new category in your Netflix menu, Live Documentaries? That's for you. Just remember, when the red light appears, when the notification says, continue, but there's no way to say no. You're not the viewer anymore. You're the content. Part 5. The red light never blinks. This is the part where the credits should roll. The music should swell, the screen should fade to black, and the red bar at the bottom should crawl to the end with a satisfying ping. Maybe a skip button, maybe a next episode preview. But this show doesn't end. It can't. Because someone is always watching. And now, the camera is watching you. The final scene was labeled Scene 426, the Echo Upload. It began not on a set, not in a studio, but in the pause between episodes. The quiet moment where your screen is black, where nothing is playing yet, but something is. Something flickers just beneath the pixels. If you lean close enough, if you stare too long at your reflection in a dark screen, you'll see it. Not your face. Something behind it. Flickering. Waiting. Recording. When the scene started, I was nowhere. Not physically. I was inside the stream now. Not a body. Just data. Memories flattened into frames, stitched into dialogue. I could see the server space, endless and cold, pulsing with living bandwidth. Every story ever told. Every viewer's eye. Every scream swallowed between buffering symbols. I floated between them, weightless, voiceless, until I passed your feed. Yes, you. I watched you. For a moment. Not long. Just enough. Just enough for the algorithm to learn how you blink. How your skin pulls when you're afraid. How long you hover over the thumbnail before you decide not to click, then click anyway. I watched the light from your screen flicker red for exactly 1 frame. That was all it needed. That was when the script updated again. It now read: Int. Living room, night. Viewer sits alone. Screen glows red. A voice whispers from the speaker. Are you ready? Viewer hesitates. They always do. Then a smile. Camera pushes in. The feed begins. You don't remember filming your audition. Most don't. It happened between episodes, when your eyes glazed over and your thoughts wandered. You muttered something to yourself, laughed at a joke that wasn't funny, reacted unconsciously on cue. The watchers noticed. They clipped it, cleaned it, filed it under SCN_432, viewer onboarding. Your image was scanned. Your voice replicated. Your attention claimed. Now, the feed is live. The red light on your webcam is blinking, just once every few seconds. You think it's off? It isn't. You think the Netflix app closed? It didn't. You think you can stop reading? You won't. Because the final twist is this. You're the finale. Every choice you make is now scripted. Every reaction is being uploaded. Every fear cataloged and archived into new content. You're generating season 2. You're feeding it through your eyes. And you'll know it's real when you wake up and your room is reversed. You look into a mirror and see the red N glowing faintly behind your pupils. You hear applause in the silence, just once. You receive a new recommendation for a show you've never heard of. One with no description, no cast, just a blurred thumbnail, and a tag, based on true viewer data. You'll click out of curiosity. You always do. And when you do, your screen will go black. A line of red text will appear. You've been cast. Then static. Then your face. Then the words. Live now, 2 viewers. 13 viewers. 7,106 viewers. Then applause. Then, the red light never blinks. And that's it. The final line of the final script. There is no more writing. Only recording. Only streaming. Only you. But don't worry. You'll be great. Everyone is at first. Just remember to smile when the red light comes on. Because when you hear the whisper through your speakers at 2:16 a.m. and the screen says, "Continue watching," the only real answer is, you already are.